Back when I was young, they used to call these books on tape. But now
they call them audiobooks because we don't have tapes. And we are taking a look at guidelines, questions and answers about the laws of Sefiras HaOmer and Shavuos. And I am learning it at night with my chavrusa, my wife, here in quarantine in the coronavirus outbreak in 2020. So we're going to learn together. And I am more or less going to read this book out loud. It's guidelines, like I said, Sefiras HaOmer and Shavuos. There are 3 sections to this book. The first section, let's see here. Let's open it up. I don't want to read the Michtav Bracha or any of the Haskamas. I just want to go straight to Section 1 is the counting. Section 2 is the mourning. Section 3 is Shavuos. So we are going to start with Section 1, the counting, and do that tonight. Chapter 1, Introduction. What is the Omer? Answer. Literally, the Omer is an offering made from barley flour that was brought in the Holy Temple on the second day of Pesach, the 16th of Nisan. Today, the word is used to describe the period of 49 days from the second day of Pesach until the Yom Tov of Shavuos. Question number 2, what is meant by counting the Omer? Answer. On each of the 49 days, there is a mitzvah to verbally count the number of days that have passed. The mitzvah is performed from the second day of Pesach until Erev Shavuos, inclusive. Question number 3. Is this a Torah mitzvah? Answer. The verse states, and you shall count from the morrow of the rest day, the day after the Yom Tov, from the day that you brought the Omer wave offering, 7 complete weeks. That's Vayikra 23:15. According to most opinions, this verse implies that the mitzvah of counting the Omer is only ordained by the Torah when the Omer offering is brought in the temple. Today the mitzvah is rabbinic and was instituted by the sages in remembrance of temple times. Question number 4. What is the significance of this mitzvah? On the Yom Tov of Shavuos, we celebrate and relive the giving of the Jewish nation's most precious possession, the Holy Torah. The period between Pesach and Shavuos is designated as a time of preparation, when one should attempt to improve his character traits and his devotion to the ways of the Torah in order to be worthy to receive this wonderful treasure. By counting these days, we demonstrate that we are eagerly looking forward to the climax of this period of time, the giving of the Holy Torah on Shavuos. Question 5. Is a bracha recited? Answer. Yes. Before counting the number each day, one recites the bracha asher kiddushanu b'mitzvosa v'tzivanu al Sefiras HaOmer. In certain circumstances, one can lose the right to recite the bracha, although he should still continue to count. Details will be given later. Question 6. Are women obligated to count the Omer? Answer. No, since it is a positive mitzvah bound by time. Nevertheless, a woman may perform the mitzvah if she wishes. Question 7. May she recite the bracha? Answer. According to some opinions, she should omit the bracha, since there is concern that she may make a mistake, in which case the bracha will have been recited in vain. This error rarely happens with men, who usually count the Omer in shul during Mariv, and hear the Chazan announce the appropriate number. Nevertheless, a woman who is confident that she will not make a mistake is permitted to recite the bracha. It is recommended that she has some form of reminder, such as a chart on the kitchen wall, to guarantee that she counts the correct number each night. Question 8. Should children be trained in the mitzvah? Answer. Boys from the age of 6 should be trained to count the Omer daily. Question 9. Should children recite the bracha? Answer. They should only recite the bracha in the same circumstances that an adult may. Therefore, if a child missed one day, he may no longer recite the bracha. See question 27. The father or mother should make an effort to remind them to count. Question 10. What if a boy becomes bar mitzvah during the Omer? Answer. If he counted every day until his bar mitzvah, he may continue to count with a bracha. End of the first chapter. Moving on to the second chapter. Chapter 2, when to count. Question 11. When is the correct time to count the Omer? Answer. The ideal time is at nightfall. Question number 12. Why do men count the Omer after Mariv? Answer. There is a general principle that when a person wishes to fulfill 2 mitzvahs at the same time, he should give precedence to the one that is performed more often. That is an idea called tadir, v'she'eno tadir, tadir kodem. The one that you perform more often should be first. Therefore, men daven Mariv before counting the Omer, since that prayer is recited daily through the entire year. Question 13. What if the minyan for Mariv is later in the evening? Answer. According to some opinions, he should count the Omer alone at nightfall. In this situation, the above rule of precedence does not apply, since he is not ready to daven Ma'ariv at nightfall. However, the widespread custom is to wait until after Ma'ariv to count the Omer together with the minyan. Due to this controversy, it is praiseworthy to make an effort to daven Ma'ariv with a minyan as soon as it is night throughout the period of the Omer. Question number 14. What if a man arrives late for Ma'ariv in Shul? Answer. Preferably, he should daven with a later minyan. If this is not possible, he should join the minyan for Shemona Esrei and daven the rest of Ma'ariv afterwards. See Guidelines to Tefillah, Volume 1, question 890. However, a question arises as to when he should count the Omer. On the one hand, Ma'ariv has precedence since it is recited daily, but on the other hand, it is better to count the Omer with a congregation rather than alone. According to most opinions, the latter procedure is preferred, i.e., he should count with the congregation and then complete the rest of Ma'ariv. The same applies if he arrives after Shemona Esrei, just before the congregation counts the Omer. Question 15. What if the minyan for Ma'ariv is before nightfall? Answer. It is praiseworthy to try and find a different minyan that davens after nightfall. See Guidelines to Tefillah, Volume 1, question 47. If this is not possible, he should daven Ma'ariv with them in order not to lose that mitzvah. Regarding counting the Omer, he should do as follows. A. Count with the minyan, but without reciting the bracha. B. After nightfall, count again with the bracha. C. Before counting with the minyan, stipulate the following condition, mentally or verbally. If I remember to count again at night, I do not wish to fulfill the mitzvah now. Question number 16. What if he forgets to count again at night? Answer. He fulfills the mitzvah by the first counting with the minyan, although he did not recite the bracha. Question 17. What if he counted with the minyan, but with a bracha? Answer. He should try to remember to count again after nightfall, but without a bracha. Question 18. What is the latest time for counting? Answer. One may count with a bracha the entire night until halachic dawn. Question 19. May one count the Omer after reciting the bedtime Shema? Answer. Although it is usually forbidden to talk after reciting the bedtime Shema, one may count the Omer if he forgot to do so earlier. Question 20. What if he forgot the entire night? Answer. He should count during the following day without a bracha, and may resume counting on the next night with a bracha. Question 21. What if one is unsure whether he counted at night? Answer. If during the day one is unsure whether he counted the Omer that previous evening, he should count immediately without a bracha. He may resume counting with a bracha at night. Question 22. What if he only became unsure at the following night? Answer. If at night one has a doubt whether he counted the previous evening, he may continue to count with a bracha. Question 23. Until when can one count during the day? Answer. Ideally, he should count before sunset in order not to miss a day. Question 24. What if he only remembered after sunset? Answer. If one forgot to count at night and throughout the following day, he should proceed as follows. A. If he remembered less than 13 minutes after sunset, he should count that day without a bracha and resume counting at night with a bracha. And B. If he only remembered later than this until nightfall, he should count that day without a bracha. He should continue to count the remaining days, but the bracha may no longer be recited. See question 27, as he has missed it. Question 25. Does the same apply on Friday night? Answer. Yes. If he forgot to count on Thursday night and realized on Friday night, he may still count until 13 minutes after sunset, despite the fact that he has already accepted Shabbos. Question number 26. What if he also davened Ma'ariv? Answer. The same still applies even if he accepted Shabbos early and davened Ma'ariv. Question 27. What if one missed the entire night and day? Answer. The verse states, and you shall count, ... 7 complete weeks. Vayikra 23:15. If an entire day was not counted, the 7 weeks are no longer complete, and the mitzvah has not been fulfilled perfectly. Therefore, one should continue to count the remaining days, but the bracha may no longer be recited. Question 28. What is the point of continuing to count? Answer. According to some opinions, each day is an independent mitzvah, independent of the others, and neglecting to count one day does not detract from the mitzvah to count each of the remaining days. Nevertheless, the bracha may not be recited because of the opinion that the count must be perfectly complete. Question 29. Is there any way to gain the bracha? Answer, yes. He should ask the chazan or another person who is reciting the bracha to have the intention to include him. After listening to the bracha, he should answer Amen and immediately say the appropriate count for that day. This should be done each night until the end of the Omer period. Question 30. May he be the chazan himself for Marav? Answer. A person who missed a day should preferably not be the chazan. In a shul where the chazan counts the Omer aloud before the congregation, since he cannot recite the bracha. According to some opinions, he may count with the bracha if he arranges beforehand to have intention to recite the bracha on behalf of someone else who has not missed a day. This may be relied upon to avoid embarrassment, for example, if the permanent chazan missed a day of counting. Question number 31. What if one knows in advance that he will definitely miss a day? This situation may arise with a person who is scheduled to undergo an operation during the Omer and will be unconscious for more than 24 hours. He is permitted to count with a bracha until he misses a day, after which time he must count without a bracha or use one of the suggestions given above. Question 32. What if one crosses the date line? Very famous question. Answer. If he crosses from west to east, he will find people counting the same number that he counted the previous day. He should count that day again without a bracha, and then continue on the following days with a bracha. If he crosses from east to west, he will find people counting one day ahead of him. Since he missed a day, he must continue to count without a bracha. Chapter 3, the counting. Question 33. May one eat or work before counting? Answer. A man is in any case restricted before Marav regarding eating and working, and no additional restrictions apply due to the extra mitzvah of counting the Omer. Details of these laws can be found in Guidelines to Tefillah, Volume 1, questions 874 through 879. Basically, a man who cannot daven Marav at the start of the evening and wishes to eat or work beforehand should appoint someone or set an alarm to remind him to daven. Question 34. Should one stand when counting? Answer, yes. Unless a person is ill or elderly, he should stand when reciting the bracha and the counting. Nevertheless, if one sat, he has fulfilled the mitzvah. Question number 35. What is the structure of the prayers relating to the counting? Answer. Most Sidurim include several prayers besides the actual counting as follows. 1. An introductory paragraph quoting the source of the mitzvah in the Torah. 2. The bracha. 3. The counting. 4. A short prayer for the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. 5. Chapter 67 from Tehillim. 6. The Kabbalistic prayer Ana B'Koach. 7. A Kabbalistic prayer that through this mitzvah one should be cleansed of all faults and purified with holiness. Question number 36. Must one recite all this? Answer. No. It is sufficient to recite steps 2 through 4, since the additional prayers are optional. This is the widespread Ashkenazic custom. According to some opinions, it is incorrect to recite the introductory paragraph, since it implies that counting the Omer is still a Torah mitzvah today, which is contrary to the accepted view. According to other opinions, one may recite it, since the above implication is not intended, and the paragraph simply quotes the Torah source for the rabbinic mitzvah. Question 37. Is the correct text of the counting Ba'omer or La'omer? Answer. Both versions are acceptable. There are 2 different minhagim. Question 38. Should one count the Omer before or after Olenu? Answer. There are different customs regarding this as well, and a person who is davening Marav in Shul should count the Omer with the congregation whenever it is recited. If one must daven Marav alone, he should follow the main Ashkenazic custom and count the Omer before Olenu. Question number 39. When is the Omer counted on Motzoi Shabbos? Answer. In Shul, the Marav Shmona Esrei is followed by Vihi Noam, Ve'ata Kadosh, and Full Kaddish. The Omer is then counted. Question 40. What if one finishes Shmona Esrei as the congregation is about to count the Omer? Answer. He should count the Omer with the congregation and then recite Vihi Noam and Ve'ata Kadosh. Question 41. What should one do before counting? Answer. Have intention to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. This is the reason for the introductory paragraph, see question 35. And verify the correct number of days to be counted. If one is in Shul, this can be achieved by listening carefully to the chazan. Question 42. May one count in English? Answer. Although prayers may be recited in Hebrew, even if one does not understand the words, the counting of the Omer is meaningless in such a case. Therefore, a person who does not understand Hebrew should recite the bracha in Hebrew and then count the Omer in English. It is important to note that cardinal numbers must be used rather than ordinal. For example, today is 3 days of the Omer and not the third day of the Omer. Question 43. What if one counted in his mind? Answer. He has not fulfilled the mitzvah and must repeat the count verbally with a bracha. Question 44. May one count by writing? Answer. If one wrote the correct count, opinions differ whether he has fulfilled the mitzvah. He should count it verbally but not recite the bracha. If possible, he should listen to the bracha from someone else. Question 45. What if one counted without intending to fulfill the mitzvah? Answer. Opinions differ whether this is valid. Therefore, he must count again with the intention to fulfill the mitzvah, but he should not recite the bracha. If possible, he should listen to someone else reciting the bracha. This situation may occur when one is asked how many days should be counted that night. If he replies stating the correct number, he may have inadvertently fulfilled the mitzvah and must do as above. Question 46. Is this true if he did not add la-omer? Answer. Yes. If, for example, he only said today is 3 days, he may have fulfilled the mitzvah. Question 47. How should one reply when asked about the correct number? Answer. He should use one of these alternatives. He should A. Tell him how many days were counted yesterday. B. State only the correct number without saying today is. And C, which is not actually in this book, but I'm going to tell it to you anyways, according to the Mishnah Berurah, this is not a problem after we start counting the weeks as well. And, maybe he does see this on the next page. Let's see. Question number 48. Does the above problem arise before nightfall? Answer. Yes. The rules apply from sunset. However, before sunset, there is no problem in stating the correct number of days to be counted later that evening. Question 49. Does the problem exist throughout the Omer? Answer. Ideally, one should be careful about this through the entire Omer. However, if one replied with the correct number, saying today is such and such day, from the 7th day and onwards, he may count as usual with a bracha. This is because he clearly did not intend to fulfill the mitzvah with his reply, since he did not state the number of weeks of the count. That's what I was mentioning before. And yes, he did mention it in the book. Question 50. May one ask another person, is today blank, blank, blank days of the Omer? Answer, yes. Even if he asked at night and guessed the correct number, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah and may count with a bracha. A question form is okay. Question number 51. What if one said on the evening of Lag BaOmer, today is Lag BaOmer? Answer, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah and may count with a bracha. Chapter 4, and the last chapter of this section, mistakes. Number 52. What if one counted the wrong number? Answer. If he realized within 1 second, which we call a toch kedei dibur, he should immediately say the correct count. If he realized after 1 second, he must repeat the bracha and count correctly. Question 53. What if he realized on the following day? Answer. He should say the correct count without a bracha, and in the following evening he may resume counting with a bracha. Compare to question 20. Question 54. What if he only realized the next night? Answer. Since he missed an entire day, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah perfectly. He should continue to count the remaining days, but he may not recite the bracha. If possible, he should listen to someone reciting the bracha every night. Compare to question 27. Question 55. What if he is unsure whether he counted correctly the previous evening? Answer. He may continue to count with a bracha. Compare to question 21. Question 56. What if one counted correctly and then corrected himself by counting the wrong number? Answer. He has fulfilled the mitzvah. Nevertheless, it is preferable to count again correctly without repeating the bracha. For example, a person correctly counted 5 days and immediately thought he had erred and then counted 4 or 6 days. His original count stands good, but he should preferably count 5 days again. Question 57. What if the number of days counted does not correspond to the number of weeks and days that he counted? Answer. If this occurred in the middle of a week, he has fulfilled the mitzvah if either of the two is correct. Nevertheless, it is preferable to count again correctly without repeating the bracha. For example, he said today's 30 days, which is 4 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. If that night is either 30 or 31 days, his count is acceptable. Question 58. What if this mistake occurred at the end of a week? If the number of days was correct, he has fulfilled the mitzvah. Nevertheless, it is preferable to count again correctly without repeating the bracha. For example, on the 14th night, he said, today is 14 days, which is 2 weeks and 1 day of the Omer. That would be that type of mistake. If the number of days was correct, he fulfilled the mitzvah. Next, if the number of days was incorrect, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah according to most opinions, therefore he should count again correctly without repeating the bracha. If he did not realize his mistake until the following night, he must continue counting without a bracha. For example, on the 14th night, he said, today is 15 days, which is 2 weeks of the Omer. Going back to question 15, I do want to mention another opinion that I have heard from many out-of-town Rabbanim, having lived out of town for a very long time. That is, what if a minyan for Ma'ariv is before nightfall? He mentioned that a person should count with the minyan, but without the bracha, then after nightfall, count again with the bracha. I have seen and heard from many Rabbanim that one should count with the tzibor, with a bracha, and then, if one remembers later that evening, one should count again without a bracha. This is true in many an out-of-town community, which has to have one minyan of mincha and ma'ariv together, hopefully with a short speech of the rabbi in between. But they do count sefira a little bit before nightfall, but they count with the bracha. The tzibor recites the bracha, and then if a person wants to count later at night, independently without a bracha, that is a good hanhaga. Hope you enjoyed.